to the Pat Mayo Experience, covering and making my picks for the 2018 Academy Awards, the Oscars. Let's win an Oscars pool, why don't we? All right? We had a good run last year. We gave out some bets as well, like Moonlight 7-1 to win, although it did take an extraordinary effort from the Anderkirks to really sink La La Land. So, to help me make my picks like he did last year, we can figure out which movies to not bet on. It's Tim Anderson.
Tim Anderson.
It's not my name. My name is Top Cat.
I think your phone agrees, but I think that's about it. You ready to do this?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Hey,
looking forward to the Academy Awards.
Hey, you do really enjoy the Academy Awards, don't you?
I do. I mean, this is probably the seminal moment of popular culture in the United States this year.
The Super Bowl gets a lot better ratings, so I would think that might be the one.
No, to me, that's not popular culture. That's sports. I mean, okay. I guess let me then rephrase it and say that certainly in terms of entertainment, it is the crown jewel of entertainment for the year.
Sure, and this is the end of award season as well. We've had them all kind of go do. We had the Emmys, and we had the Grammys, and now it finishes off with the Oscars, the one that people seem, at least by the ratings, care about the most.
Well, some of us try to keep the spirit of award season alive in our hearts all year long.
Well, I mean, that's why we have the Custies. Even the Custies fell in. And that's where La La Land was a big winner. Most cursed non-sports division, La La Land. Do you have anything more to say on La La Land? Do you have a La La Land of this year we can bet against?
No, I have no strong feelings beyond the heavy favorites. I don't think I do anyway. Maybe I'll discover them dialectically through our conversation.
All right, so we're going to do this from a picks. We're going to make our picks, throw odds aside for each category at the 2018 Oscars, but we are going to talk a little bit about the betting odds because I have laid down a few wagers, and I'll let you know what those are once we end up getting to them. But let's start with the big one, Best Picture. There are 9 nominees, and there is no real front runner. There's no heavy favorite this time around. We've seen a lot of upsets in the Best Picture category over the years, like La La Land being a -1,000 favorite and losing to a 7-1 underdog in Moonlight. There's the preferential ballot voting for Best Picture, meaning that just because you get the most first place votes doesn't necessarily mean you end up winning Best Picture, which has thrown a real wrench into this entire system over the years. But the odds right now for the nominees, 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, is -150. Shape of Water is +162. Those are the 2 co-favorites right now. Lady Bird 11-1. Get Out 18-1. Dunkirk 40-1. The Post 80-1. Call Me by Your Name 100-1. Phantom Thread 200-1, along with Darkest Hour 200-1. So 3 Billboards has kind of swept everything. It won the Golden Globes, it won the SAG Award. It's probably going to win Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor. It has a lot of buzz behind it. It's a -150 favorite. I don't think it's going to win. What do you think?
No, the odds are not short enough for something that's been cleaning up everywhere. And again, I don't know whether the Golden Globes, whether the Hollywood Foreign Press, there's enough people at the Hollywood Foreign Press to do a preferential ballot. I don't know. I don't think this is the first time we've come across this methodology with these pictures.
Well, not really. I mean, this has been in place now for 3 years.
Well, thank you, but I'm just talking about this year in particular. I agree with you. I don't think 3 Billboards will win either. I certainly hope Shape of Water doesn't win because I watched it last evening. That happens to be not a good movie. I think it'll be either Get Out or Dunkirk because I think that's everybody's second favorite movie, and those 2 are everyone's second favorite movies. And I thought those were the 2 best movies this year. So I think I would probably bet them both.
I just don't think Dunkirk's going to win. I don't think it's a lot of people's second favorite movie. I think it's a lot of people's 5th favorite movie. Dunkirk is fine. I think Get Out is particularly everyone's first, second, or third favorite movie of the year. I think it actually sets up really well. That is the one of these that I bet on, and that's going to be my pick to win, is going to be Get Out. Although, you saying Shape of Water is a bad movie is just nonsense. Shape of Water is a fine movie. It's just not the best picture of the year.
I didn't like it. I watched it. It was like, this is icky. And
okay. Can you expand on that for a second? What do you mean by it's icky?
I just didn't like the so-called relationship they were building up.
Oh my God. It's a fucking fairy tale, you pansy.
I just didn't like it, and I just didn't find it enjoyable. After having finished it, I was like, that wasn't fun. And so I just didn't like the movie, didn't care for it. Certainly will never watch it again. So I'm out on it.
Well, the problem with a lot of the nominations
Because it'll probably win Best Picture.
It might win. I mean, it has the most nominations. It has 13. It's almost a lock for Best Director, and those things usually go hand in hand. But like when I think about Three Billboards, there's two sides of the coin here. Like it's not going to win Best Director. It's not going to win Screenplay. Like it might win a few acting awards. But that's the only thing that it really has going for it. It's not going to win any of the technical categories. Martin McDonagh's not going to win Best Screenplay. At least it doesn't look like. But where it cleaned up at the SAG Awards and it's going to get these acting awards, the acting branch of the Academy is by far the biggest, so if they throw all their support behind Three Billboards, I think that it could win. I just think there's a little bit of backlash to the movie. Some people really don't like it, meaning
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to be like 8th or 9th on some people's list. Actually, no, Darkest Hour is going to be last on every single person's list, I'm pretty sure. But like, it's going to get a lot of first place votes, but it's also going to get a lot of like 6th place votes as well,
Yeah,
and that might weigh it down.
I read a few reviews of Three Billboards of people saying, "I wish I had been thrown through the window at one point." People just really don't like that movie.
I actually really did like it. I think it's a fine movie.
I thought it was meh. Like I didn't hate it. I just thought meh. It's not a Best Picture to me.
All right. Well, what were your favorite movies of the year then?
The best two I thought were Dunkirk and Get Out. I thought those were fun. Those were interesting.
Yeah, Dunkirk was a real laugh riot, Tim.
Well, no, it was fun in the terms it was exhilarating and, of course, very moving and powerful in a way that it certainly was the most powerful movie this year. But Get Out was it's a horror movie, but yet not really a horror movie. Like it was really interesting and sort of quirky. And so if Get Out were to win, I won't be upset. I actually will be very happy about that. But I mean, I think if you like cinema, no one debates that Dunkirk is not the best piece of cinema this year.
That's not even true. Dunkirk is barely a movie. It's just 3 action sequences that weren't good enough to be their own standalone movies, so they had to cut them together.
Essentially a throwback to 1930s, 40s style cinema. It's just sound and motion and color.
That's great. They'll probably clean up, and sound effects editing is not close to the best picture of the year.
It is pretty clearly the best movie they made this year probably the best movie made in the last 5 years.
What are you talking about?
It's that much more superior.
It's good. It's not great.
It's literally otherworldly. It's
otherworldly. If there's one thing that I like from my movies, it's barely knowing who the characters are and not caring about them and what happens to them. Great. Thanks.
The point is the characters are the 300,000 on the
Yes, Tim, there's one thing that we know about movies. It's that when you have characters that are faceless and no one cares about them, it really has that emotional attachment to it. It's a movie. It's not a historical artifact.
It's not a historical artifact, but it is telling one of the most important stories in history.
Good. Then then you know what? It has no difference than if you went and read about it then. This is a movie. It's supposed to be entertaining. You're supposed to care. And just, besides the fact that people are just constantly dying left, right, and center and they're trying to survive, it's an action movie. That's all it is.
It's just, I mean, I think it probably would be different if we were English too. I mean, there was a moment when the British Empire stood alone against the evilest regime in the world. And this is a turning point in history. And it tells a very important story, and it does so powerfully. But it's not about the resistance, and it's not about Me Too, so it probably is not going to win Best Picture.
Well, it also has to compete against other movies which have emotional impact to them, which that didn't.
Sure, I mean, clearly it was the most emotionally charged movie of the year.
No, it wasn't. That's not true.
It is. I mean, this little stuff, like the little head nod that Mark Rylance gives to his son.
Okay, you need to get over Mark Rylance, by the way. Mark Rylance is like, if you need like a doddering old man that has like a little bit more under the surface, he just plays the same character in every movie.
It's not his best performance. I wouldn't say that, but just like the little nod he gives to his son when he lies to the deserter about whether their friend was dead, so they didn't crush him. Like little stuff like that. Like if you're watching it closely, what you realize is that's actually far more brilliant than any piece of dialogue written in pretty much any movie this year.
Well, I mean, however, we haven't even actually talked about the real best movie of the year, which has no chance to win, unfortunately. But Phantom Thread is by far the best movie. Unfortunately, it's 200 to 1.
I mean, I think it's... Go ahead, make your case.
I mean, just watch it. I think you'd be hard-pressed to watch Phantom Thread and not agree it's the best movie of the year.
Okay, well, I just told you I think Dunkirk's probably the best movie.
Did you see Phantom Thread?
Pardon me?
Did you see
I've
Phantom
seen
Thread?
every movie on here except for Call Me By Your Name, and I did not see The Post. Those two I didn't see.
Okay, I didn't see The Post, I didn't see Call Me By Your Name, and I didn't see Darkest Hour, which just looked awful. But
yeah, we can talk about it. It was awful, but We'll talk about it when we get to Best Actor.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason that it's in here is because people like the Gary Oldman vibe of the movie. But, I mean, what would you have against Phantom Thread of being the movie of the year? It's the most immaculately shot, it's the best acted, it's hilarious, and probably has the best ending of any movie.
I think it was a really, really good movie. I think it was the third best movie I saw this year. I like Get Out was a better movie start to finish. I think it's a superior film in terms of the story it's telling and sort of the way it's telling it. I think it's, using that horror genre and sort of renovating it in the 21st century, I think is, as much as I like Paul Thomas Anderson, he didn't do that in this movie. I think his achievement is not as impressive as that achievement. So, yeah, I liked it fine.
I see. I would go Phantom Thread, and then I'd probably go Disaster Artist because I love the Disaster Artist so much. And then probably Get Out. Lady Bird's in that mix too.
I hated that movie. So, I'm so glad it's not really nominated for anything because that movie is Hollywood at its worst, so I'm glad it's getting no recognition.
When did you even see it?
Pardon me? It was a sneering, and I wouldn't see it.
So you didn't see it. So you're going to give us your review of Disaster Artist when you didn't see it.
I'm just saying it's a sneering.
Which you didn't see, so you have no idea.
And you saw at the Golden Globes exactly what they bring Tommy up there, and then James Franco's like, "Oh no, you can't speak." It's a sneering, nasty, cruel film that was made by a bunch of by people who are the wrong type of people for Hollywood. I'm glad it's getting no recognition. Those are the types of movies that should no longer get made. It is so problematic, I don't know where to begin.
And the fact that you didn't see it really makes you an expert on what the movie was like.
I can go see it. I will have that reaction because I don't like.
Because you've already decided how you feel about a movie you haven't seen and the tone that it is. I recommend everyone. You have to see The Room first. If you haven't seen The Room, then the movie really makes no sense. But if you have seen The Room, go see The Disaster Artist. It is top notch.
Sure. Then the idea you bring Tommy Wiseau on stage at the Golden Globes and then quite arrogantly say, "Oh no, but you can't speak into the microphone."
Yeah, I think we all know why you can't let Tommy Wiseau around a microphone.
Yeah, James Franco can only thank him for the obnoxious, idiotic, indefensible. Thank God he wasn't nominated for anything.
Well, he got himself into he was the first X out because he probably would have been a lock to be in the Best Actor category
if he wasn't a terrible person.
Yeah, basically that is the entire.
Thankfully, we have heard the end of James Franco in Hollywood, and I say it couldn't have come sooner.
Well, I don't know about that. Apparently, he's coming back for season 2 of The Deuce.
I sincerely doubt it. We'll see.
Well, it just sounds like you've now reverse cursed James Franco. His career's going to be back on the up and up pretty soon.
I thought he was overrated to begin with, and now I'm...
Well, I mean, of course he's overrated. You hate every movie you haven't seen that he's in.
I really liked him in 127 Hours. I like that movie a lot, actually.
All right, so I'm big on Phantom Thread. I kind of recognize it has no chance of winning. There is a category, 2 categories where it could win and one where it probably will win, but we'll get back to that a little bit later on. Lady Bird, we didn't even really talk about. 5 nominations, the third heavy favorite. It has a shot of winning because we're probably the 2 wrong people to talk to this about. I really like I think we have to understand the politics of it, and we have to understand who the target audience of this is.
Sure.
I'm not the target audience. You're not the target audience. It's my wife's favorite movie by far of the year, and every single female that I've talked to, it's number 1 by far.
And I think it could win, and I think we would be dishonest if we said that politics doesn't affect the way that, particularly with Best Picture, the way that voters think. Moonlight won last year in part because of political consideration.
And also because it was a far superior movie to fucking La La Land.
That's very debatable.
No, it's not. I mean, by your metrics, which is what won in the past, that's how you go on everything. It won, La La Land lost, Moonlight way better.
Okay, nobody believes it was far superior. Now you could say it's slightly superior.
You say Shape of Water is a bad movie. La La Land is a bad movie. It's not good.
La La Land is worse than a lot of the movies in this year's Best Picture. I will say it. This is a much better year for movies than last year was. Lady Bird I watched it, a perfectly entertaining movie. You're right. I knew I wasn't the target audience going in. I thought it was a good movie. I think it could win. I think the politics of Me Too helps that movie. I think it gives it a real chance. That's why, Get Out, the politics helps it. I think the politics hurts Dunkirk. I think the politics, if the Post had been good, perhaps, and I guess I didn't see it, but it's not winning it. Shockingly, it's not getting much steam, but the politics behind the Post should have helped it out too. So Lady Bird could win. I think it was a good movie. I don't think it was the best movie this year, but I wouldn't be shocked if it won.
Well, I mean, I think you're kind of downgrading how good Lady Bird and potentially even Get Out are. I understand that there's politics that's going to come into this in terms of the voting,
no, I'm not downgrading
but to say that the only chance they have to win is because of politics
never said
is ridiculous.
Only.
They're both excellent movies.
But I never said only. I just said it is a factor, which it is.
And I don't think politics is hurting Dunkirk at all. If it's hurting anything, it's hurting Three Billboards.
Well, the politics is hurting Dunkirk. It probably is hurting Three Billboards.
No, people in general just don't care about Dunkirk. That's why it's 40-1 to win. People are just like, it's good. People like it.
A movie that made, I think, more money than all of these other movies.
Well, that's great then, Tim. Why isn't the Avengers nominated then? Let's just give it to what made the most money. Star Wars, not nominated. Big shocker.
I have long said the Oscars should set aside at least 2 slots for the top grossing movie.
Why?
Because in one sense, that makes it the best picture. Because
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't at all.
In a lot of ways, that's the most important thing.
It should to the movie companies, sure. In order to make more comic book movies, sure, and Star Wars movies, when we talk critically think about movies, which is what this purpose is about, that's not what matters.
There's no specific purpose. The word best can be interpreted in many different ways. The idea that the best picture is something that nobody has seen, then maybe there's something wrong with that. Maybe that's problematic. Maybe we need the academies to open its mind a little more. What the word best means. Most popular might just mean best in some sense.
Well, then maybe it sounds like you should take a step away from the Oscars and just start watching the People's Choice Awards.
Like, I think maybe
the MTV Movie Awards are right up your alley.
Like, Wonder Woman definitely should have been nominated this year.
Okay, better. Tim. Yeah, listen. I know what you're trying to do here to make yourself seem like not a huge sexist, but come on.
Wonder Woman was better than Shape of Water by a lot.
Oh, give me a break.
Wonder Woman was probably my second favorite movie I saw all year. It was so good.
It was okay.
It was amazing. I mean, it wasn't in terms of a super.
I didn't see Darkest Hour, but to use your type of reviews from movies that you haven't seen, I'm assuming it's better than Darkest Hour.
Yeah, it was definitely.
But you saw Darkest Hour?
Yeah, of course I did, because I'm interested in the story, and it's weird that we have 2 movies nominated for Best Picture that are historical dramas, both from the same moment, from different perspectives.
Well, apparently one perspective was a lot better in terms of how it came out as a movie.
Not, as I'm going to, Darkest Hour is the Iron Lady's version for Gary Oldman. That was for Meryl Streep. Bad movie, some real issues with the script and the way they're telling it, like the way they were taking shots at Mrs. Thatcher, I did not appreciate.
Oh my God.
But her acting was fantastic in the role, in the same way Gary Oldman embodies Winston Churchill, even though they're taking some liberties with the story I didn't appreciate.
Okay, so my biggest problem with the crop of Best Picture nominees this year in terms of picking an overall movie, and this is unfair to a lot of movies, and this is how I end up on Get Out and Lady Bird as it comes along. Like, I look at all the movies that are up from each filmmaker, and I just like other movies more. Like, I look at Three Billboards, I think that In Bruges is just a way better movie than Three Billboards is. Shape of Water is like the low-rent Pan's Labyrinth. Pan's Labyrinth is just a better movie from Guillermo del Toro. But with Dunkirk, it's not Christopher Nolan's best movie. We can argue about what is Christopher Nolan's best movie. I happen to think it's The Prestige. Some people think it's Inception or it's Dark Knight or whatever it is. He's made better movies than Dunkirk. The Post, clearly not Spielberg's best movie. Call Me By Your Name, I didn't see it. I'm not even going to weigh in on it. I just don't know. I'll watch it at a later date. Phantom Thread, I love Phantom Thread. It's my favorite movie of the year, but it's no There Will Be Blood. It's no Boogie Nights. I mean, it's about on par with The Master. Maybe it's a little bit better than The Master. May need to go back and revisit The Master a little bit. But I think that Phantom Thread will be a far more popular movie 5 years from now than it is today, because it's a bit alienating and off-putting, and a lot of people didn't see it. It was the last movie of the year that came out, and I was shocked it ended up with 6 nominations. So that leaves me with Lady Bird and Get Out, 2 fresh movies from first-time filmmakers. I mean, I don't know if Jordan Peele directed Keanu or not, but Get Out, better than Keanu. I just think we're going to remember those movies very fondly, and I think that Get Out is going to win. That's going to be my pick, and I bet it 18-1.
Yeah, I'm going to reverse and say I'm going to pick Lady Bird. Not that I think it's the best picture, definitely wasn't, but I think it will win. So I'm going with Lady Bird.
So it sounds like you've cursed everything besides Shape of Water. So that's
I'm going to guarantee Shape of Water doesn't win. No. I will guarantee it doesn't.
Really? Guarantee, huh?
Yeah, that one I'm certain of. I would be more shocked if Darkest Hour, or sorry, I'd be more shocked if it won the Darkest Hour one.
Well, that doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, I know. As I was saying, it doesn't make any sense. But I'm just trying to assert my strong sense The Shape of Water is no chance.
Well,
It's also not going to be Best Director either. I'm just saying that right now, Tim.
All right, well, let's talk about that then, because if we go to Best Director...
This is where they reward Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan's not winning this award. Guillermo del Toro is a minus 1,200 favorite. He's won all the precursors. And if we take a look back in this category, we see that the Mexican directors have been cleaning up here. Your main man, Alejandro, whatever the hell his name is, and Alfonso Cuarón ended up winning. So, I mean, this is just Guillermo del Toro's time.
I think this is Christopher Nolan's opportunity for them to give him a career achievement Oscar for this movie. And because they're not going to give it, there's no acting, obviously, awards to give Dunkirk. They'll get some of the editing awards. I think he wins here. 7-1. There's a reason for that. This is where he gets rewarded by the. This is where he gets rewarded. I think he takes it home.
All right, so Greta Gerwig's 14-1, Jordan Peele is 25-1, and PTA is 66-1. I found it kind of surprising that he popped up in this category. There could be a wave for Phantom Thread at the Oscars that didn't exist at the other places, because all those nominations came out before, and for whatever reason, the Academy voters, at least in terms of nomination, threw a lot of support behind it. I think if there's going to be like an upset movie that just randomly wins a category, it'd be Phantom Thread. So I think that Guillermo del Toro is going to win. That's going to be my pick. But I think if anyone else wins, it's going to be PTA.
Okay. Well, I mean, I obviously disagree.
I mean, if we're going to give career achievements out, why don't we just give it to PTA instead of Christopher Nolan? He's a better director.
That's pretty objectively not true.
No, I mean, if we even ran a poll on that, I think that anyone who understands anything about cinema would kind of agree with me that Paul Thomas Anderson is a far better filmmaker than Christopher Nolan, who's fine. But PTA is shaping up basically to go down as like the new Kubrick when he ends up never winning one of these.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan just makes movies that people love without exception every time. What a terrible director.
Yes, I mean, if there's one thing that we know about Christopher Nolan, it's not that. Maybe try to make a movie that has a little bit of emotion in it once. Maybe try it. Maybe try it once.
He's too busy making movies that make so much money that they can't even stop thinking. Sorry about that.
Okay, I mean, why don't we just nominate Michael Bay every year then, too?
Michael Bay doesn't make good movies.
I mean, he made Pain and Gain, which was excellent. He made The Rock, which was excellent.
Okay.
But his movies make all kinds of money, and that's the #1 objective, right? That's what makes a movie really good. I mean, why are we just nominating George Lucas every year?
It's making money is an objective. I think it's foolish not to consider it's and of course, Paul Thomas Anderson also thinks the exact same way, which is interesting enough, that how much money a movie makes actually does matter in terms of its quality.
Well, I mean, he doesn't necessarily think that the money that it makes, he needs his movies to make money to continue to allow to make movies, but he's always said that he wants to have the same viewership as a Steven Spielberg would have. It's just his movies aren't necessarily conducive to that. They're not mass appeal movies.
No, most of them are not.
Most of them are dark comedies. It's like when you go back and look at the entire Coen Brothers catalog, they have one movie that did well, ever.
Well, yeah.
Two, sorry. They have two. No Country and True Grit did well at the box office. So you're saying that those are the only two good Coen Brothers movies?
I mean, I think, in my opinion, those are the two best Coen movies.
They're not, but okay. I mean, you can give me Old Country. Lebowski's better than Old Country.
True Grit is so good. Anyway.
I mean, you're just throwing Fargo aside as well, throwing Blood Simple out the window.
I'm not throwing it out the window, but I'm not putting them ahead of those two.
You should put Blood Simple ahead.
Nope.
No? Just no?
No.
Just take a big no on it?
I'm not here to utter your opinion. I'm here to give my opinion.
Well, your opinion just seems insane.
It's not insane. It's just not yours. And God forbid someone come on here and not agree with you.
Well, I mean, most people have enough sense to come on and agree with me because they know I speak the truth, not just speak like a crazy person.
I was chosen as Tribune of the People.
Who chose you as Tribune of the People? You?
The people.
Has anyone ever said it besides you?
There's a Twitter account that follows me called Tribune of the People.
You mean that fake Twitter account that you run and then you talk to as yourself and pretend it's not you?
I don't have the skill to do that.
It's really sad.
I'm just telling you.
That the only person who agrees with you is also you, but you're pretending it's not you. I mean, that's a sad existence, man.
Lots of other people. You know that. That's why I should be verified and Doug shouldn't.
What?
So I should be verified, and Doug shouldn't.
Oh, Doug the Pug.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Doug the Pug's a real crowd pleaser. I mean, it's funny because you always try to mock people for their amount of Twitter followers. I can't wait for Doug. Doug has too much class to mock you for your lack of followers, but he definitely could.
Let him try.
I mean, he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to stoop down to your level.
All right. Sorry I brought him up.
You were there. You brought this up. What else did you want to talk about?
I'm sorry I brought it up.
All right, Best Actor. Gary Oldman is a minus 3,300 favorite. That's one of the biggest favorites of any category on the board. Timothée Chalamet is 16 to 1. So is Daniel Kaluuya. Daniel Day-Lewis is 25 to 1. And Denzel for Roman J. Israel Esquire, 33 to 1. It's Gary Oldman, and that's just the way it's going to be.
Indeed.
No amount of anti-Semitic comments can really derail Gary Oldman this time around.
It's just he really does embody Churchill in a way that, and, recently we've had with different TV shows and movies, people impersonating Winston Churchill. He does the best job even of all those people. It's just, I think that the parts of the plot, like when he goes to the underground and talks to regular people in London about what to do, that never happened. Like, that's all made up. Like, I'm not too happy about the plot. In fact, but him as an actor, he embodies a role in a bad movie, and so he definitely deserves this Academy Award.
Well, I mean, it's weird because if Lady Bird doesn't win Best Picture, it might get shut out of all the other awards. It's going to be funny when we look back in time that Lady Bird's going to end up with none, and Darkest Hour ends up with like 2.
Yeah, I mean, it should only get 1.
It's probably going to win 2.
It seems like it, but I mean, I also think when we get to it, but I think Lady Bird is going to win Screenplay.
All right, well, we'll see that. Let's get to Best Actress because Frances McDormand is a $2,500 minus 2,500 favorite for 3 Billboards. She won basically every single award so far. Saoirse Ronan is 12 to 1 for Lady Bird. Sally Hawkins is 16 to 1 for Shape of Water. Margot Robbie for I, Tonya, and Meryl Streep 33 and 66 to 1. I'm just going to go with Frances McDormand. If there's one thing that people seem to agree on with 3 Billboards, whether they like it, whether they dislike it, is that Frances McDormand is really good in it and she's going to win.
Yeah, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it, but I thought she was really good, and I have no objection to her winning. That's my pick.
You didn't think she was too angry? That didn't make you feel uncomfortable?
No, I thought it was an interesting movie. I thought the conceit of the movie was very interesting. I liked it a lot in terms of that approach, and I think she's a really good actress. So I was glad to see her kill it.
Well, yeah, and now she's going for her second Best Actress award, which would put her in rarefied air. She'd have Fargo, she'd have this, she'd be good to go. But I mean, in terms of 3 Billboard, did you find it was pretty evident that it was written by a non-American?
No, I didn't look into I didn't know anything about it until after I'd seen it.
Oh, right. See, I got that vibe from like the very beginning, just the take on the South of America from someone who wasn't American. I thought it came through a lot.
Well, that's not. I mean, Missouri is not the South.
Well, it's more South than England.
Yeah, okay, but Missouri's like the dead center of the country.
Why? Okay, where they were. The reason
it's
that.
Appalachia.
What's that?
Like Appalachia. But it's not the South.
I think they just stuck it there as it could have been it could have been Mississippi if you just changed the name in terms of what he was writing about.
Okay, sure. I was just being pedantic.
Yeah, thanks. You're really bringing a lot to this with your terrible takes and weird nitpicking over nothing.
Yeah, I think it's actually in the name of the movie. Okay.
Supporting actor. Sam Rockwell for 3 Billboards is minus 800. Willem Dafoe for Florida Project, plus 550. Richard Jenkins for Shape of Water, plus 200 or plus 2,000. So that's 20 to 1. Christopher Plummer for All the Money in the World, 25 to 1. And Woody Harrelson, 40 to 1. This is the category where I think there's going to be an upset. All the acting categories seem to be out of reach. They're all locked in. I think there's going to be an upset somewhere. And historically, Best Supporting Actor is where it happens. So I have 2 bets for this category. I think there's good value on 2 names here. One is Woody Harrelson because I think that people have turned on Sam Rockwell a little bit, and they still want to reward this movie, and people just like Woody Harrelson. I think there's
that's my pick. I think he's the best of these 5 in the movies.
Really? He's not my pick, but I bet him 40 to 1.
I mean, I didn't actually see the Christopher Plummer movie, so of the 4 of the 5 of them that I've seen, I think Woody Harrelson is excellent. He's borderline got in that movie enough to be the actor.
Well, I mean, he's only in it for like 20 minutes.
He feels like he's in it more longer than that.
But he's not. He's in the first act, and that's it.
It feels like he just is like, anyway, fair enough. I think he's going to win.
Okay, you think he's going to win. I think he's a smart bet at 40-1. I think those odds are too long. I also think, and my pick to win is going to be Richard Jenkins for Shape of Water, because I think they're going to give him, you talked about giving Christopher Nolan a Career Achievement Award. Richard Jenkins has popped up a lot of time at the Academy Awards, never a real chance to win any of the categories, like when he was nominated for The Visitor as Best Actor. He wasn't going to win Best Actor. But he's in 2 of the movies that are nominated for Best Picture this year. It's a spot to give Shape of Water an acting award, but I think they could also kind of double down and give it to him for his performance in Lady Bird as well. I just think there's a lot of positive vibes around him, and people like to reward some of these aging actors. I don't think it's going to be Christopher Plummer, so I think that Richard Jenkins is going to be the winner, and I bet him at 20-1 as well. So I think that Woody or Richard Jenkins ends up winning. I'll pick Richard Jenkins. You pick Woody?
Yeah, I have a problem with Richard Jenkins that he was in one of the worst movies of the year this year, which was Kong Skull Island.
Okay. Oscar nominee Kong Skull Island.
The very fact that anybody affiliated with that garbage movie would win an Academy Award this year angers me to no end.
That's your take. That doesn't
That's
seem,
my take.
That doesn't seem very reasonable.
Yeah, well, I just felt like I'd taken up one more whack at that god-awful movie while I had a chance.
All right. Supporting actress. Allison Janney is -700. She is the overwhelming favorite. She has won all of the awards so far. Up next, Laurie Metcalf is 5-1. Mary J. Blige is 25-1 for Mudbound. Leslie Manville for Phantom Thread is 25-1. And Octavia Spencer, playing the same role as she apparently does in every movie, is nominated for an Oscar again and is 40-1. I'd like to see her play a different role every now and then. It'd be nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Allison Janney is going to win. Obviously, she's the biggest of the favorites in this category. I think she probably should win.
Well, there's 2 outside chances. I mean, if there's enough Lady Bird sentiment to go around, Laurie Metcalf could definitely win this, because she was excellent as the mom in that movie. But I think that there's a reason Leslie Manville popped up in here. She was awesome in Phantom Thread, and she went toe-to-toe with Daniel Day-Lewis. And Daniel Day-Lewis is not going to win, so this is might be where they end up rewarding it.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I think you make a good case there.
I think this is, like I said, there's 2 categories that Phantom Thread could surprise, and I think this is going to be one of them. It could be. I'm also going to pick Allison Janney because it's going to be kind of crazy after she's won every award to pick against her, but I think that there could be an upset here. I might throw down a little bit, few bucks on Leslie Manville.
Okay.
Okay. Did you enjoy her performance in Phantom Thread?
Yeah. I didn't love that movie.
You said
it was okay.
You said, okay. I didn't love that movie. I thought it was okay. Didn't you just call it the 4th best movie of the year?
I did the 3rd best of those 3 movies nominated, yes. I didn't love it.
Really?
It takes a lot for me to love a movie. Like, I liked it. I just didn't love it. Plus, you know, I've having seen it, I am now well certain that it will not be the final acting performance for Daniel Day-Lewis. He's not going out on that.
Why? He's excellent in the movie.
Yeah, but the movie just didn't resonate, and therefore I just don't think it'll be his last movie. He'll come back, like Cincinnatus at his plow. He'll be back.
I mean, what Daniel Day-Lewis movies historically have ever really resonated with the people?
Lincoln.
Did Lincoln? Lincoln was okay.
Lincoln crushed at the box office. He won Best Picture for it. It was a really good movie.
He won Best Actor. I mean, he won Best Actor for There Will Be Blood. There Will Be Blood didn't really resonate with the people. It was a movie that barely made any money, and is the best movie. It's the best movie of the millennium.
It didn't resonate, but Lincoln did.
Okay, so the lesser movie he was in resonated.
I think so.
I mean, if he had went out on There Will Be Blood, he still would have had the best acting career ever.
Gangs of New York. I don't know how much it made in theaters, but I think that movie certainly resonated with the public.
I don't think so. The movie's just not very good. He's just really good in it. That movie overall is not very good.
You're wrong about that. That's a darn good movie.
Man, you just love movies that like you go in with these opinions. It's like you have no critical thought on these movies that you're supposed to like.
Oh, God forbid I go into a movie with an opinion that I'm not.
just like, this movie is disgusting and disastrous. I didn't see it though.
I think that the attitude behind The Disaster Artist is exactly
what attitude? You haven't seen it. How would you know?
Every review of it that I have read confirmed.
What are you doing reading reviews before you go see movies? That seems like a very backwards way to...
I can't see every movie on Earth, and there are some movie reviewers whose opinions I respect and I think are smart.
Who are that? Who would those be?
For example, the movie critic for the Weekly Standard, John Podhoretz, I think he's really smart. The movie critic for the National Review, Kyle Smith.
You're gonna get your movie reviews from the most conservative people on earth?
Well,
that seems like a really weird way to go into movies, doesn't it?
They are conservative publications, but they know their stuff. Mm-hmm. So I respect that. I mean, I like the movie critic for the Washington Post. What the heck is her name? Oh, and I'm blanking on her name now, but she's quite good. She goes on Kornheiser's show quite a bit, so I've started reading her stuff.
Best Adapted Screenplay. Call Me By Your Name, minus 2,500 favorite to win Best Screenplay, and this is going to be its shot to win an award. It's going to be this category. Mudbound, Molly's Game, Disaster Artist, and Logan. Did you see Molly's Game?
No, I did not.
I liked Molly's Game. I can't believe it's up for Oscars, though.
Why is that?
It's a fine, acceptable movie that I really enjoyed because I like poker, but it's by no way a great movie.
Wait, no, I did go see Molly's Game. I'm sorry, I went to go see this in theaters like a month and a half ago. I don't know why I said that. I went to see with our friend.
I was going to say, when I asked you if you had seen it or not.
I went to see with our friend Clark.
Okay.
Yes, I saw this movie. I like this movie a lot.
It's enjoyable. It's not a great movie.
No, it's not a great movie. It's a fun movie, though.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say about it. It was a really fun movie.
I think they were really hurting for adapted screenplay nominations this year. I actually like to see that Logan ended up getting it. I'm glad to see Disaster Artist snuck into here as well, but like it was hard to get a good back end.
Any movie you put Jessica Chastain in, I'm going to go see.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jessica Chastain is fantastic.
Is that because you loved her so much in Zero Dark 30?
That whole movie was, we can have a whole conversation about how Zero Dark 30 was snubbed. And it's such a fantastic film that, anyway.
Well, it's weird because people now seem to have problems with Zero Dark 30 because it hasn't aged the best.
Well, again, I bet most of those people probably have not seen it since it came out in 2012.
Well, maybe they're still stuck in their box.
I really liked that movie. I thought Jessica Chastain was amazing in that movie. I mean, I think that's probably Catherine Bigelow's best movie.
What?
Zero Dark 30.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Molly's Game. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Aaron Sorkin.
No. Well, Aaron Sorkin wrote it. I don't think he directed it, did he?
Yeah, it was his directorial debut.
I mean, it was clear that he wrote it because you can tell these things by spending about 3 minutes with it. It was his director. I thought it was a really fun, enjoyable movie. I liked a lot.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Glad it got some recognition.
Okay, Call Me By Your Name is going to win, by the way.
Oh, of course it is.
So, yeah. Original screenplay.
Lady Bird. This is where Lady Bird gets rewarded. Read out the odds.
Well, okay. Get Out is the favorite at plus 125. Then it's Three Billboards at plus 150. Then it's Lady Bird at 3-1. So if you do like Lady Bird so much, you should probably throw down some cash on it at 3-1. Shape of Water is 25-1, and The Big Sick is 50-1. I think that Get Out is going to win because if Get Out, again, almost like Lady Bird, if it doesn't win Best Picture, Get Out might get shut out.
But that happens, it seems like just about every year where one or two movies do get shut out.
But these are the two like overwhelming critical favorites of the year, Get Out and Lady Bird. It would be surprising to me if they both walked away empty-handed.
Well, I don't think they both will. I think Lady Bird's going to win this, and I picked it for Best Picture, so I guess there's going to be some more forward momentum on it.
Okay, well, I mean, if Three Billboards wins this category, it's probably going to win Best Picture.
Are you saying that because that it has predictive value, or
no? I think it just shows sentiment that people really do like this movie. Like if we get out of the gate, because supporting actor is like one of the first categories. If Rockwell wins and then this wins, it's just go live bet it to win Best Picture because it's gonna win.
Okay.
Because this would mean that, I mean, we talked about the first place votes, but this is a split between, because realistically, no one's voting for what the better screenplay is of the three of these. They're voting for which movie they like the best.
That's exactly correct.
So if they vote Three Billboards, it really says something about the one odds for something like Get Out and Lady Bird.
This is the Academy. How many of those voters are voting for the movie they think should win, and they haven't even seen it?
Oh, probably a lot. I mean, I feel the Academy has shifted a lot over the past 5 years in terms of getting younger. But when I think of like crotchety old Academy member, I'm not watching that. It has fish. No. It has fish sex in it. I just think of you. You seem representative of the Academy.
I've always felt like Baseball Hall of Fame voters and Academy Award voters would be the two things I could do.
That's a long list of future employment.
Like I think I was meant for that because like. I was that person on Sunday who was furious at Justin Thomas being allowed to curse on TV over and over again.
You're just such a fucking stiff. It's unbelievable.
No,
how do you get like this?
Some people just prefer a little bit of dignity in the world.
But you have no dignity. People follow you on Twitter. They know you have no dignity to speak of.
I have such dignity.
No, you don't. You have none. You can't even stick to your word. All you do is flip-flop about things, pick everything. By the time we get to the actual Oscars, you're going to have picked every movie from every single category and then claim to be right about it.
No, but people should follow me on Twitter at Tim Anderson 87. I will be live tweeting the Academy Awards.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You might have to be blocked for that.
Well, I mean, I will bring the funny, as I always do.
Oh, yeah, you're going to be sitting there you're being mad about people's politics and like, that dress is too revealing. It makes me feel uncomfortable.
I doubt I would tweet that, although I'm sure there will be some cheap shots taken in the monologue that I will be annoyed.
Oh, really? You mean at a thing that's supposed to be comedic in a room full of people that are entirely left-wing? You think there's going to be shots at the president? Oh, really, Tim? And you're going to be, I mean, because of the fact that you're a snowflake and you get triggered over everything, it's not surprising that you'd be real mad about that.
Yeah, no, I'm sure I won't be mad when the de facto head of the DNC who's hosting this event will go up there and just read talking points.
I mean, Jimmy Kimmel, look, he's not reading off talking points. He had some life experiences, and now he's trying to share those. He was never like this before.
No, but then he realized how addictive it can be to be political and have the right people like you. Now he's just...
people like Jimmy Kimmel to begin with. He wasn't doing this stuff a year ago, and he went through some family stuff, and now he feels like where he has a platform, he's going to speak out. I mean, what do you have against him speaking out?
Nothing against
that
him
you're triggered by what he's saying?
No, but just I don't think it's comedy anymore in some ways. That's all.
Oh, I'm sorry it doesn't align with your political views, Tim.
I'm
sorry that makes you sad.
I would prefer comedy that's just not so political.
Oh, you can watch it. Unlike the rest of the world who is tuning out of Jimmy Fallon in droves, you can stick around and hang out with his lack of comedy.
I'm tuning into Jimmy Fallon. I'm that person. I think he is good, clean, wholesome fun.
Yeah.
He doesn't take shots. That's why Johnny Carson was on air for 35 years as a host of the Tonight Show, because you never knew what his politics were, and God forbid we ever follow Johnny Carson's lead. He was only like the most successful person in the history of show business.
I mean, it was really easy to stay on air for 30 years when there was 4 channels.
Well, but he was also really good at his job.
There was also no other options.
So what?
Well, when presented with more options, you don't quite get the market share, and maybe you're not quite as popular as you think.
I would prefer to watch network TV, and I still do.
Yeah, it's because you're a lunatic. I mean, that's why it says insane person on your thing.
Yeah, well, I reject that label.
I like derivative. That's my favorite thing. Who cares about uniqueness when it comes to my entertainment? I want what I've seen 1,000 times, and I need people to laugh for me while it's going on, because I don't know when to laugh.
You know what? I'm not opposed to laugh tracks. Big Bang Theory has it. It's one of the most popular comedies of the last 20 years.
You need to give your fucking head a shake, pal.
Okay, I like things that are popular. You like things that are not popular.
Oh, you have no real opinion. You have no critical intuition. You can't tell what's good and what's bad. So you need to look around and see what everyone else likes and just like that.
No, really, that's who I am.
Yeah, it is. When it comes to your entertainment views, yes, absolutely. You have zero taste. Absolutely. You're
just trying to get me wound up, and I am not going to fall for this. I march to the beat of my own drum more than anybody you know.
My favorite movie is the movie that made the most money because the most people like it. It's the best.
It didn't make the most money.
What are you talking about?
The movie I liked this year did not make the most money. A lot of movies made more money than that.
Yeah, but that's why you enjoy Star Wars so much, because it makes so much money.
I was openly critical of this year's Star Wars movie.
Because it didn't make enough money?
It didn't make enough money because it wasn't very good.
See, a lot of people, there's your hot take. A lot of people would disagree with you on that.
No, I don't think a lot of people would disagree. I think most people who saw that movie did not like that movie that much.
But you don't talk to anyone. How do you know what most people think?
I talk to people all the time.
No, you don't. You talk to me. That's about it. You talk to yourself with fake Twitter accounts.
I wouldn't stoop to that level. I'm actually bothered by the insinuation.
It's not an insinuation. It's what's going on.
You just can't accept that there are people out there who might actually enjoy what I'm up to and want to engage in the sort of witty repartee that my Twitter account engages in. Oh no, I've got to be. It's got to be some sort of clandestine cloak and dagger thing for me.
you're conversing with an account that agrees with you on everything and that is named after you when, after we've reviewed the success rate of what people think of your opinions and picks and everything, you're usually like a 10%er in terms of people siding with you, generally speaking. Sometimes it's a lot less. Like once there may have been more where you almost got to 50% on a very casual take. But
it was a dead heat, yeah.
Yeah, it was a dead heat. You lost, but who's keeping score on this one? But the fact that you created a Twitter account to congratulate yourself on things.
I didn't do that. I didn't do that, folks. I would never do that to you.
You just sound like a liar.
All my goodness is concentrated in just my Twitter account.
But not conversing with yourself through multiple Twitter accounts to make yourself seem like a bit... Oh, yeah, I'm right all the time. Everyone agrees with me, like me, on another Twitter account.
I would never do that.
Okay. I think we should run a poll to see if people agree or not.
Well, I know the truth. That's all that matters.
I mean, you're just living your truth. Again, maybe not the truth, but your truth indeed. Whatever you believe, Tim, your feelings are facts to you.
There is only the truth, and I try to speak it.
But then why don't you just live by it?
I try to.
Are you outside having a smoke?
No.
Are you all fired up? You need to have a stress sig because you're a triggered sig? Timmy Triggers needs a sig?
Now I expect we're about to talk about Blade Runner soon. I got thoughts about that, too.
Well, did you see it?
Yes.
No, but it's the worst.
Yes, and I really liked it.
What are you doing? You have like a shuffle around? No, what are you doing? You can tell us.
No, I was just getting fired up.
Okay. Animated feature of the year. We have Coco, minus 4,000. Biggest favorite on the board. I don't think we need to talk about the other ones.
No, I mean, I thought The Boss Baby would be favored since that was like the number one, like it was on the top 10 charts for like 3 months, but apparently Coco is the best, so let's go with it.
All right, yeah, so we're both picking Coco. Cinematography, the favorite. Roger Deakins never won an Oscar, is a minus 800 favorite for your favorite movie of the year, Blade Runner. Blade Runner has a decent amount of nominations, too. Blade Runner has 5. Just people didn't really seem to respond to it. Didn't do great at the box office either, Tim. That means it's no good by your standards.
Yeah. I was surprised at how maybe people just don't like Denis Villeneuve.
People liked Arrival.
I guess. Like, people like Sicario. Like, I didn't like that movie.
Oh, I really like Sicario. What are you talking about?
I thought when I saw Prisoners, I liked it. But the more I thought about it, the more I disliked that movie. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But I really like Blade Runner 2049.
So Blade Runner's the favorite at minus 800. Then it's Dunkirk at 6-1, Shape of Water 14-1, Mudbound 22-1, and Darkest Hour at 80-1. Dunkirk is probably, I mean, this is one where Dunkirk is probably quite deserving and could upset. And I'm actually going to take it. I'm going to take Dunkirk 6-1.
I mean, if I had a vote, I would vote Blade Runner. So I'd take Blade Runner.
I mean, it's the overwhelming favorite. You probably should take it. Film editing. Dunkirk is a minus 200 favorite. Baby Driver is plus 150. Shape of Water is 22-1. 3 Billboards and I, Tonya are both 50-1. I don't understand how Dunkirk is a favorite in best editing, as it's one of the worst edited movies I've ever seen in my life. Baby Driver is going to win. Baby Driver is just the opening sequence of Baby Driver deserves an Oscar, so just give it the Oscar.
Well, I can't speak to that because I did not see Baby Driver.
We have to make a pick in this category.
I'll pick Dunkirk. I don't agree with you. I think the editing is pretty seamless.
The editing is awful. You can't tell what's going on half the time. You don't know what any of the characters are. And then you're dealing with 3 separate timelines because you didn't have enough story. If it didn't have the 3 separate parts and wove it all together, which is not the most difficult thing in the world to do. Like, Memento is a far better edited film than Dunkirk was.
Okay, well, Memento's not up for that award.
Yeah, but just Dunkirk is, I wouldn't say it's objectively badly edited, but it's not good by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, the experts disagree with you since they nominated it, and they have it the favorite, so they disagree with you again. So I will go with them, and I'll take Dunkirk.
Okay, Baby Driver, plus 150. May have to throw down a wager on that one, too. Production design, this one I feel like is a pretty big lock unless Blade Runner can pull
Yeah,
the
my
upset.
pick would be Blade Runner. I think it's got to be Blade Runner.
Shape of Water's minus 500. Got to be Blade Runner. Blade
I think
Runner's
it should
plus
be.
350. Beauty and the Beast 20-1. Dunkirk 28-1. Darkest Hour. This is Shape of Water's to lose by a long shot. That is a exquisitely looking movie. Just the two main sets of the apartment building and even sort of the underground bunker, the lab where everything is at. It looks so sharp. They're real sets. They're not CGI sets. I think that will go a long way with the Academy.
I think what you say is correct, but man, some of the stuff that's going on in Blade Runner anyway, it's quite stunning. Like, that's a movie that doesn't waste a square inch of the screen in a way that I really appreciated. So I would vote for it.
Visual effects. We have Blade Runner is the favorite, minus 163. War for the Planet of the Apes, plus 125. So it's a two movie race right now. Star Wars, Guardians of the Galaxy, and your boy, Kong, Skull Island, 66-1. So you're going with Blade Runner, or you're going for War of the Planet of the Apes?
Blade Runner. And I just can see it. Anyway, yeah, Blade Runner. And since he'll win a bunch of these early awards, because I'm picking it for sound editing as well, people are going to be saying, oh, it's that's the upset movie, and then it'll just not win anything because it's not nominated for anything. No, people don't know how the Oscars work or what's nominated.
Well, I mean, it has the 4th most nominations, I think.
It does, but like, it's nominated in all the technical categories. Like, Villeneuve should have been nominated in Best Director, for example, but he isn't.
No, he's not. So visual effects, we're both going Blade Runner?
Yeah. Did we skip the foreign movie?
I'm getting to that later.
Oh, it was higher up on my list. Sorry.
All right. We're going to go to sound editing and sound mixing. Exactly the same nominees for each. So for sound editing, it's Dunkirk is a minus 700 favorite, Baby Driver, Blade Runner, Shape of Water, Star Wars The Last Jedi. This is just a spot to prop up Dunkirk a little bit. I think it wins both these awards, so I'll take Dunkirk minus 700. Although I think that Baby Driver could be live in one of them, but I don't know which one, so I'll decide with Dunkirk.
Yeah, I'll take Dunkirk in mixing, but I'll take Blade Runner in editing. The shorter odds for no good reason in editing makes me think they'll go with Blade Runner.
What do you mean, the shorter odds?
It's plus 1,600 in sound mixing. It's plus 1,400 sound editing.
So you're going to take the 14-1 underdog instead of the 5-1 underdog?
Yeah, I just think they're telling us something there.
Okay. I mean, they're not telling us anything. Is what the book is saying.
Yeah, I'm just trying to read out the value in the line.
You just want to pick Blade Runner.
Yeah, I do. I really liked that movie. And listen, I loved Dunkirk more, but I really like Blade Runner. It needs to be rewarded.
Okay, so sound editing, you're going with Blade Runner?
Yeah, but mixing, I'll take Dunkirk.
All right, best original score, Shape of Water, minus 600. Dunkirk, plus 550. Phantom Thread, 11-1. Billboard is 25-1. John Williams for Star Wars, that new original track, 40-1. This is the other one where I think that Phantom Thread could upset, because they might just want to go with star power, give it to Johnny Greenwood. Radiohead's doing a big tour this year. I mean, he steps into movies only to score P.T. Anderson movies, and he does an excellent job. He's actually eligible this time around because he created the best soundtrack along with the best movie in terms of There Will Be Blood. That is a horror movie soundtrack on a movie that is not quite a horror movie, and it's awesome, but it was deemed ineligible because he had written like 2 bars of something before the movie had started. So he could get rewarded here. I will go with Shape of Water, though.
Yeah, so will I.
All right, best foreign language film. We have A Fantastic Woman from Chile is minus 163. The Square from Sweden, plus 175. Loveless from Russia, 12-1. The Insult from Lebanon, 12-1. And On Body and Soul from Hungary is 28-1. I will just take A Fantastic Woman because I didn't see any of these, and I'll just take the betting favorite.
Yeah, I'll take The Square. Well, because why not? Plus 175.
Why not? This could be the difference between you winning and losing the Oscar pools by not taking the favorite.
I think by me taking Woody Harrelson as the supporting actor, I'm going to win or lose on that.
But not if you lose the rest of the categories.
I got a good feeling about this.
Okay, so Fantastic Woman, big winner here, is what you're saying?
I think The Square wins.
Okay, yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying that it's not going to win now.
I don't feel as strongly about this as I feel like The Shape of Water has absolutely 0% chance to win Best Picture, but I feel pretty strongly about it.
Best song, we have Remember Me from Coco, minus 163. This Is Me from The Greatest Showman, plus 150. Mighty River from Mudbound, 25-1. Mystery of Love from Call Me By Your Name, 16-1. Stand Up for Something from Marshall is 25-1. What are you picking?
The Greatest Showman, even though people think it's a bad movie, I didn't see it, but it is killed at the box office. So maybe this is a way to do some fan service and give it to Greatest Showman. So I'll take that.
I actually happen to agree with you. I think The Greatest Showman wins this. Decent bet, too, at plus 150.
Hooray!
Makeup and hairstyling. Darkest Hour, minus 3,300.
Not even close. Yeah.
Wonder, 10 to 1. Victoria and Abdul, 18 to 1. Just go with the chalk and take Darkest Hour here.
No doubt about it. This might be the heaviest odds on the board, other than that one that was minus 4,000.
I mean, it has the same odds of winning this as it does Best Actor.
Yeah, I'm with it.
All right, Best Costume Design. I think this one's a pretty big layup, too. Phantom Thread is 8. There's an 8 to 1 favorite. Shape of Water is a 7 to 1 underdog. Beauty and the Beast 9 to 1. Darkest Hour 40 to 1. Victoria and Abdul 50 to 1. You've seen some historic stuff kind of pop up in this before, or it could just be if Shape of Water's actually, I mean, has the 13 nominations, maybe it just is the overwhelming favorite, and we don't see it coming, that it just cleans up a lot of these categories that we don't see. But Phantom Thread is a movie about making clothes. I feel like I feel like that's going to reflect well on the people that vote in this category.
One should hope.
So are you taking Phantom Thread?
Sure.
All right. Sure? Yes or no? It's a very simple question.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. All right, so the four categories that are really going to separate your Oscars pool, so you really want to nail these ones. First up is documentary feature. We have Faces Places, Icarus, Last Man in Aleppo, Strong Island, and Abacus, Small Enough to Jail. Faces Places a minus 350 favorite. Icarus is 4 to 1, and Aleppo is 10 to 1. And I know where that is, Tim. Bet you didn't know that.
What is Aleppo?
What are you taking?
I'm taking the favorites. I'm going to take the favorite in just about all of these.
Are you?
Yeah, too many years I flip around and pick underdogs, and they never seem to hit.
I could see Last Men in Aleppo winning this. I'm going to take Faces Places, but I think the one thing you have to recognize, you talk about a lot of the Academy members just vote without seeing anything. I think they just might read what these are about and then vote for them.
Definitely.
Or to see who's attached to it and then vote for that. So I think that's a subject. And when we get to live action short, I think that's almost a layup lock. But I'll take Faces Places as well for documentary. Animated short. Is Icarus the one about blood doping that's on Netflix?
I think so, yes.
I might watch that. It looks interesting. Animated short. I think this one's a layup too. You know who's going to win an Oscar this year for Dear Basketball at minus 300?
Who?
Kobe. Kobe.
Yeah, I think so too.
So Kobe's a minus 300 favorite. Then it's Lou, Garden Party, Negative Space, Revolting Rhymes. We're both taking Dear Basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Documentary short. Edith plus Eddie is minus 250. Heroin, with an E in parentheses, is plus 275. Heaven is a Traffic Jam about an artist with mental illness is 8 to 1. Traffic Stop, 33 to 1. And Knife Skills. It's not about Roberto, the stabbing robot. That is 33 to 1. I'll wait for yours because I'm not taking the favorite in this one.
I will take the postmodernly titled Heroin.
Oh, that's what I'm taking too.
Hooray!
It's about 3 women overcoming the opioid crisis.
That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, that's what I'm taking as well. Live action short. It's a 3-way race between DeKalb Elementary, minus 275. DeKalb, all right. Elementary, 275. The Silent Child, 4 to 1. The 11 o'clock, 6 to 1. Then there's My Nephew Emmett, that's 20 to 1. And Watu Wote / All of Us, 25 to 1. I think the movie about
This Is Us, or Jeff would have to turn off the Oscars.
It's true. He's had enough of This Is Us. Although it's probably your favorite show. It's very popular.
It's probably my favorite show going on right now on TV. Now that like Game of Thrones is on pause and Curb's on pause.
This Is Us is next up for you?
I think that's just a tremendous show. We can talk about that later. That's just a great show.
We're not going to talk about that later. There's no point of that show besides the fact of making people feel real sad when they're watching.
Well, there's some value to catharsis.
It's not a good show. Anyway, the favorite was it DeKalb?
DeKalb.
Okay, DeKalb Elementary about the school shooting is probably going to win.
Yes, I agree.
Because voting came out before the shooting in Florida. So I think that social issues tend to do really well in these categories. I think that's fresh in people's minds.
It's not for. That's not a bad thing, but it just when you come with Hollywood, social issues always affect the way these guys think about things.
All right, I think that's everything. You ready to lose to me for like the 4th consecutive year in Oscar picks?
Yes.
I mean, just like everything. Football picks, Oscar picks, picks on anything. I'm just the big winner. That's the reason that I continuously have you on. You're like the only person I can beat at this stuff.
Just as long as Shape of Water doesn't win, and 20 years from now, when someone wants to do like a rewatch of all the best pictures, they don't have to subject themselves to some weird fish romantic comedy.
I think you're really underrating Shape of Water. Now I'm liking it even more, hearing how much you hate it.
I despise it.
I don't understand how you could despise it. Like it's not an offensive movie whatsoever. It's beautiful. It's beautifully shot. It's the stakes are kind of high and there's stuff going on in the movie, but at its core, it's just a love story.
I don't like it, not one bit.
But why though?
Because I don't like the.
I don't like it. It makes me feel bad.
I don't believe the story. I don't find it interesting.
It's a fairy tale.
Okay, great. That I'm supposed to believe that some weird alien creature from South America, is going to strike up a love affair with this woman. I don't believe it in the 1960s. I don't buy it. I'm sorry, I don't.
You just don't like fish love.
No, I'm not Troy McClure.
I think that's that part of this. I think that part of this movie has been blown way out of proportion. By the way,
the fact that it's involved at all is why it's been blown out of proportion.
Why? Well, who cares?
Because
it's a
really
movie.
Weird.
Who cares if it's weird? Movies can be weird.
That they may be weird. That does not mean that I have to embrace it as the best picture, which it most certainly was not. Even though Michael Shannon is in it, and I will say I'm a huge fan of Michael Shannon and everything he does.
Really? Big Michael Shannon guy? You're big on him on Boardwalk Empire?
He's the best part of. The only reason I kept watching that show was because of Michael Shannon, because he was so good in it.
Oh man! Imagine if he was in This Is Us.
It would just be too much.
I mean, the show would just be too good. They couldn't broadcast it anymore.
The show couldn't get much better than it already is. It's raw and affecting in a cynical time, which is good for the soul of the country.
Man, your TV takes are so bad.
Yeah, again, well, God forbid I like things that people like. I know.
Yeah, you just like whatever's easy. Just like that. That's okay.
It's not easy to watch that show. In fact, it's quite difficult. It takes discipline.
Oh, yes. It's a highly disciplined show. I'm going to show up. I bet you it's going to be sad this week.
Yeah, but then to put yourself through that sadness and sort of like turn around.
Well, you just sound like a masochist now. All you want to be is bummed out the entire time.
I mean, well, I think that there is some realness to it about the world we live in that one needs to face.
No, if you want to watch a show about realness and how the world really is, I suggest everyone watch Twin Peaks.
Yes, the 12 people that watched that season all the way through would agree with you.
Hey, there was more than 12. There was like 20. There was like 29 of us out there. Yeah, and hey, there was no show that appeared on more critics' top 10 number ones of the year, because those who liked it, loved it. Like
I have no doubt that is true, and I watched every second of that show, and I would not recommend it to anybody who wasn't weird in the way you and I are weird.
Well, you don't seem to be very weird at all. You think This Is Us is a better show, which is just not true.
This Is Us, well, that show's not. Twin Peaks isn't on anymore. We're talking about shows that are currently on TV.
Well, Vanderpump Rules is still on. Vanderpump Rules is way better. So is The Challenge.
Oh, yeah.
So is The Bachelor. Bachelor Winter Games way better than This Is Us.
No, I was too busy watching the Winter Games.
No, see, it's funny. I watch more Bachelor Winter Games than I watch the actual Olympics.
Yeah, you should be proud of yourself on a sports show saying that.
Hey, this is the Pat Mayo experience. It's sports, it's entertainment. And I do far more Bachelor coverage than I do Olympic coverage. And hey, you know what? Bachelor, more popular than every single sport in the Olympics.
Yeah, but not combined.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess when you add up the total of all of the 40 sports and put it up against The Bachelor, then maybe you're right. But on an individual level, The Bachelor is significantly more popular. And that just includes The Bachelor of America. If we add up all the Bachelors from around the world in every country, The Bachelor probably still is more popular.
Sure.
See, you're losing on your own arguments now.
I really am not, but I don't want to fight you on it.
Why don't you just watch The Bachelor? Have you ever seen The Bachelor?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Have you? What was the last season you watched?
The year Jesse Palmer was in it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is that the only Bachelor you know? I have a feeling that you're just lying and you've never seen it.
No, it's not true.
That's the only Bachelor that you can ring off the top of your head. So I watched that season.
Oh, no,
how long ago do you think that season was on the air?
Aaron Rodgers' brother too was involved in one.
So you know the only reason that you know who was ever on, he was on The Bachelorette, you dunce. That's both The Bachelorette. So you've never actually seen The Bachelor.
Dunce.
Okay, that'll do it for the Oscar Pick Show. Good luck in your pools this year. Hopefully we can cash some bets as well. Let's go Get Out 18-1. Let's go Woody Harrelson or Richard Jenkins in Best Supporting Actor and whatever other ones I gave out too. Maybe I'll make a list of them and post it on my Facebook page. I would like to thank Tim Anderson.
Tim Anderson.
That is not my name.
For being on the line and making some real terrible opinions very, very public.
These are all the opinions that I express on Twitter anyway, which everyone knows. These are just popular opinions.
Do you express them to your fake account and then agree with yourself from it?
Again, I don't do that.
We know you do it.
No, I don't.
You sound very convincing. Just like when you tell us you've seen stuff which you've clearly not seen, and then you give reviews to movies that you just have feelings about. Not facts, feelings again. Yeah, this is a show just about you living your truth, Tim.
It's not that at all.
Old Timmy Triggers, living his truth.
Not triggered.
You live your truth with the best of them.
I don't get triggered. I don't live truths. I live the truth.
Your truth, Tim. Your truth. Anyway, I'm Pat Mayo. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the PME. The full pitch cheat sheet will be up on my Facebook page, facebook.com/thepme. Rate, review the show, watch it, and give it a like on the DraftKings YouTube page. I'm Pat Mayo. Enjoy the Oscars. I'll see you next time.